Okay, everybody, welcome, and thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Angie Brady. I am the director of the city's Office of the Waterfront and Civic Projects, and we are in charge of leading the design and construction of the overall waterfront program, which includes building a world-class waterfront park for this beautiful city of ours. It was just a few short years ago that right behind me stood a looming, gigantic, double-decker concrete freeway that formed a solid barrier between this neighborhood and the waterfront. The Alaskan Way Viaduct's removal in 2019 has provided us with this incredible opportunity to reconnect our downtown to our waterfront. And that is exactly why we are here today, to celebrate the start of construction of the Pioneer Square Streets Improvements Project, one of many improvements to east-west connection streets in downtown that are included as part of the waterfront program. In close collaboration with our partners at the Alliance for Pioneer Square with us here today, this project aims to improve accessibility for people of all ages and abilities and provide safe and convenient pedestrian connections between our historic Pioneer Square district and the new waterfront. Today we will hear remarks from Mayor Bruce Harrell, Lisa Howard of the Alliance for Pioneer Square, Valerie Segrest with the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, and Joy Shigaki, our partner at Friends of Waterfront Seattle. The work on this project includes improvements on 4 streets within Pioneer Square: South King Street, South Main Street, which we're standing on today, South Washington Streets, and Yesler Way. Some of the improvements we plan to make with this project include the current one-way configurations between Alaskan Way and First Avenue on South Main and South Washington Streets will be extended to 2nd Avenue South, and each street will be made curbless with a priority on pedestrian access. Our project will move vehicles away from vulnerable underground historic areaways and add more landscaping and greenery to the area. Our pedestrian improvements will include storytelling elements that reflect and honor Indigenous histories within and near Pioneer Square based on collaboration and feedback from members of local tribes. For example, we are incorporating native plants and will be adding interpretive panels and ground level etchings depicting uses of Indigenous people in the area. Another storytelling piece that I am super excited about are pavement markings that will show the historic Elliott Bay shoreline from the mid to late 19th century prior to the settlement of this area. Construction of this project is expected to be substantially complete by the end of this year. And I wanted to quickly highlight that these improvements will enhance the connections to Pioneer Square Habitat Beach on the waterfront, which opened last July to the public and has welcomed many visitors ever since. The Pioneer Square Habitat Beach, located at the end of Washington Street, was built to support marine habitat while providing people with a relaxing place to sit and watch the ferries and other boat traffic go by. The waterfront program has also restored the historic Washington Street boat landing, which will reopen and host a concessionaire this summer, thanks to our partners at Friends of Waterfront Seattle and the Alliance for Pioneer Square. The landmark boat landing has been a piece of Seattle's waterfront since the early 20th century, and its restoration, it will once again provide a symbolic gateway from Puget Sound to Seattle. A couple of quick thank yous, and I'll hand it off to the mayor. I'd like to sincerely thank the Alliance for Pioneer Square, the Pioneer Square community, and especially the members of the Pioneer Square Sounding Board for their instrumental input and guidance and support and patience throughout our design process that started in earnest in 2019 when we held our very first open house right here in Pioneer Square. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us to ensure these improvements best reflect what you really wanted to see happen in your neighborhood. I want to thank my entire Waterfront Seattle team, particularly Jessica Murphy, our construction program manager. Raise your hand. Our senior project manager lead, Barbara Lee, our project manager, Therese Casper, our art and wayfinding lead, Rory Yampolsky, and our lead project engineer, Amy Yamabe. These ladies are the best in the business. I love you all. Thank you to our design team at MIG SVR, and thanks to our contractor, Gary Merlino Construction, for their expertise and hard work to get this project built for us. And thank you also to H&TB Jacobs for supporting our construction management services. I need to thank our funders with whom we would not be standing here today. Thank you to the local improvement district ratepayers and to Friends of Waterfront Seattle, who are raising $200 million in philanthropic funding to help pay for all of these amazing improvements, as well as to provide amazing programming in Waterfront Park for years to come. We rely on these dollars coupled with city funding to make all of this happen. I also want to recognize that some of our newest council members are with us today to help us celebrate. Councilmember Hollingsworth is with us, and Councilmember Saka. Thank you so much for being here. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Deputy Mayor Audium Emery, who tirelessly supports us on our journey toward building an incredible new waterfront. We look forward to Pioneer Square becoming more integrated into the new Waterfront Park through this set of improvements. And without further ado, I would like to present to you Mayor Bruce Harrell. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Thank you, Angela, and she gave a lot of thanks, and I won't name everybody, but I will give a special shout out to the project team for designing a beautiful and welcoming space for us all. Councilmember Joy Hollingsworth did not read the fine print when she signed up for this job that you have to wear these construction hats on occasion for press conferences. It was written in there, but in very small print. We are building a world-class waterfront, and Angela did an outstanding job as describing the what. Wider sidewalks, green space, acres of parkland, vibrancy, an activation plan. She described the what. I'll talk a little bit about the why. The why is because we are intentionally building a great city. That if you look at how Seattle got to where it is today, with signs falling, the intentionality of who we are were because civic leaders, philanthropic leaders, business leaders, community activists, teachers, educators, politicians all had a vision some time ago for what we could be. And that is who we are. But we're going through a rebirth with the election of a new city council, with the election of new politicians, with the election of people around this state. We are all realizing these tough times that we are coming out of right now through the pandemic and through social strife, that this is our time to redefine our country and indeed our city. That is the why. And the other piece of the why is when we look at these shovels, they symbolize, what am I got, bad sign luck today or something? Can someone put this, let's put this one back up. Okay, that didn't break my rhythm at all. Just one sec here. Reimagining our public space is central and core component of our downtown activation plan, and that's what this project is doing. You've heard me say on other occasions, there's no substitution for hard work. These shovels symbolize the hard work that our laborers, our employees, our contractors are doing to rebuild this city. And when we hear words from Valerie and people from our Native community, how we define love, respect, and our commitment to, okay, someone's gonna have to hold these signs up. Just stay with them. We help one another in a One Seattle approach. Thank you, Carissa. How we love and treasure our Native community defines how we love and respect and cherish everyone around us. That symbolizes, rather than a token acknowledgement, it symbolizes that this city of Seattle will be led by compassion, love, and respect. That's the why. So as we build our future, a future where there is more neighborhood activation, increased foot traffic, beautified green spaces, thriving businesses, neighborhoods who love their neighborhood and who feel safe in their neighborhood. That is the Seattle we are becoming. We are very excited about this project, and we have a lot of activity coming to the city, as you well know. The FIFA games as one example. We have a lot of activity that is coming here. This gives us an excuse to energize ourselves and inspire ourselves to be better and do better. Last, in closing, the city employees, thank you again. Joy, we got two Joys up here, by the way. This Joy, thank you for your leadership and keeping the spirit alive. Philanthropic members, thank you for your generosity and your commitment to the city. As mayor, I cannot do this alone. So this is a great day in Seattle sunshine, a great groundbreaking day, and I stand energized to keep it going. And with that, I'm going to introduce one of our strongest partners in this work, Lisa Howard from the Alliance for Pioneer Square. Lisa.
Thank you. Vibrant communities can exist when they work for all members of the community. With the East-West Pedestrian Project, we continue our efforts to ensure Pioneer Square is a vibrant, welcoming place for all. This day has been decades in the making. With the removal of the Alaskan Way viaduct, our community was reconnected to the water. And this year, we'll be able to see this project come to life, ensuring a direct connection of Pioneer Square as a waterfront community. This project is about connection, but more importantly, it's about the people that will steward and use those spaces far into the future, from our small businesses on the ground to visitors from all over the world. On behalf of Pioneer Square, I want to reiterate a thank you to the Sounding Board for all of the work that you put in through the last decade, as well as a big thank you to Mayor Harrell and the Office of the Waterfront for all of their efforts in making today possible. And to wrap up, please be sure to join us for a reception at Osun Banchan directly after this press conference. And now I'm very honored to be able to pass it over to Valerie with Muckleshoot.
Hatzlahail, Valerie Segrist Seedsta, Muckleshoot Opshid. Good morning, my name is Valerie Segrist and I'm a member of the Muckleshoot tribe. I come from the Wilbur and Purcell families. That ties me to the Suquamish, the Swinomish, the Tulalip, the Snoqualmie tribes. And that's telling really of this space because before this was the city of Seattle and before it was known as the Pioneer Square, this was a part of a village called Zidalalaj. And right where we're standing was an intertribal lagoon. Intertidal lagoon that specialized in certain types of seafoods like starry flounder. And so you could look out here and see my ancestors spearing flounder using certain types of plant materials. My background is in traditional foods and medicines of my people. I've dedicated my nutrition practice to revitalizing indigenous foodways, not just for Muckleshoots, but for the ripple effect of a movement that's happening across this country that's trying desperately to get people, humankind, reconnected to the source of our food. And in order to do that, we have to be able to have a deep understanding of the lands that we stand on. And for too long, the effects of colonization have removed us from that. Not just Muckleshoot people, but all of us. All of humankind has never been, in human history, this far disconnected from the land. And so right now, for the last several years, we've been hearing this movement of land acknowledgements rising up in organizations and city governments, and they've become taglines on emails. and our firm, the firm I represent, Tahoma Peak Solutions, really specializes in focusing on getting people to make actions behind those land acknowledgements. And I can't think of a better example of that than this project here today. I descend from the village of Zidalalaj that used to stand here. And when I was called to ask, to submit my perspective on what kind of plants should be involved in this project, I knew that I had to answer that call because this is part of our healing story. This is part of what we mean when we say we need to decolonize land. We're not trying to make this a flounder lagoon, although there could be some really cool events around starry flounder, right, in the future here. But we are trying to help acknowledge a past that knew how to manage these lands very well, and also uplift and create visibility for my people who have maintained these lands since time immemorial. Since a glacier was here, if you can imagine 10,000 years ago, 1.5 miles above our head would be a glacier that high. This land has always changed shape over time, and to bring indigenous perspective with us into the future is part of successful planning. It's part of maintaining a healing story. It's part of decolonizing land, and it's part of making land acknowledgements action steps that truly help us all reconnect to the lands that we walk on, and to help promote visibility. And so I'm proud to be a part of this project. I am so grateful. I think it's really telling of our time. I think maybe 15 years ago, people wouldn't be that interested in this. Maybe 50 years ago, you wouldn't even know that we were here. Maybe 100 years ago, I might be put in jail for speaking here today like this. So it is telling of our time that this city is on a healing journey and that you're bringing us along with it, because that is going to be the success or demise of our future. And so I appreciate it, and I could talk about land and plants all day. I'm gonna tell you though that part of the design work here with the plants was really to uplift the traditional technologies that came out of that. So you're gonna see native plantings that represent how we make cordage, how we make spears, that plants are our greatest teachers, and that they teach us, they shape our world that we live in, and they always have and they always will. And so there are, beautiful cherry barks, and I tried to get stinging nettles here, but they won't let me put nettles in the city, which I totally understand. But what we use to make cordage, what we might use to make a fish spear. So I could talk about plants all day long, and I won't because we don't have enough time. But I just want to invite Joy to come up and say a few words to you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie. So much around what we are doing around Waterfront Park is creating story and how we ground ourselves in memory and place, and how this will become a place for our cities. What we know is parks make extraordinary cities, and they connect us to nature and to one another. This was and continues to be an audacious vision following the 2001 Nisqually earthquake that damaged that double-decker highway that once stood behind us, to ask what would be possible at the heart of Seattle and the connection to the Salish Sea. Waterfront Park is over 15 years in the making, with commitments and dedications of leaders in this city, many standing behind me, but also civic residents and leaders, 10,000 people who gave vision to this new Waterfront Park. It will be a 20-acre extraordinary park in the heart of our city, running from Soto to the south, north to Belltown, opening in 2025. It represents a grand vision, the vision that the mayor reminded us of the beauty of this city, the richness and capacity of this place in reimagining our waterfront in the footprint of the former viaduct, a 1950s infrastructure, and reclaiming it and reconnecting it to our neighborhoods and to downtown, and to bring us connected to the water. The work of the Pioneer Square expansion is an incredible example of this. The connections of Waterfront Park and Pioneer Square is vital. It invites the public to easily make their way into the neighborhood and back into the park with improved accessibility and safe passage, with beautiful plantings that Valerie talked about, grounded in our Indigenous stories and sense of place and honor of the first people that lived here. It'll create a dynamic visitor experience to take advantage of the amazing restaurants and cafes, bars and galleries, historic tours, and parks that make this neighborhood so unique. And honoring the Indigenous history and culture and stories of this place is really drilling down on the values that this city really holds up. Alongside with the City of Seattle, our partners with the Office of the Waterfront, the team who's creating this amazing place in our communities, Friends of Waterfront Park as the nonprofit is working in partnership with all of these entities to make sure that we can create that sense of belonging and joy and wonder of this new place that will be in our city and be in the heartbeat of our city for generations to come. And it's through a public-private partnership with the city, friends, that we will care and fundraise and program and activate this place and steward it now and into the future. As Angie mentioned, we're leading a $170 million comprehensive campaign to contribute towards the build of the park, for our activation, our programming, our public safety partnership with Seattle Center, and we're 85% of the way to the goal. We want to welcome all of you to be park partners and champions of this work, and again, say many thanks to our partners, to the city, to the Office of the Waterfront and Civic Partnerships, to our partnerships in neighborhoods and our community partners running programs. We can't do this without a deep commitment to this city, and we invite you to spread the word about this new kind of civic space that is coming to our city in less than a year, Waterfront Park. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna do the ceremony shoveling here. So come on up, everybody.
I think there's enough.
Right behind you.
We gotta do it before our signs fall down.
Lift with your knees. 3, 2, 1. You know my mantra is 3, 2. Yeah, I'm doing my job. Yeah.